Isekais are to anime what battle royales are to gaming. What started out as a unique and interesting concept has turned into a very overused and boring one. And with 10 new isekais a season, it's hard to find a good one. But this last anime season, there was an isekai that might end up becoming the best isekai of all time. And that's Mushoku Tensei. Mushoku Tensei follows a very standard isekai setup. Our main character is a 34-year-old shut-in, and after getting kicked out of the house by his family, he sees a truck heading towards a group of high schoolers. So he runs and pushes them out of the way, but he gets hit with a truck instead, and it kills him. He then wakes up reincarnated as a baby, and as he gets a little older, he learns that he was not just reincarnated, but he was reincarnated in another world. He then decides to try to take life seriously this time and not end up a jobless bum like last time. Mushoku Tensei does everything almost exactly the same as other isekais, but it somehow does it better than most isekais out there. It sets up and develops its characters extremely well and does a good job making them feel like real people. Like the main character Rudius, or Rudy for short. In his previous life, he never left his home because in high school he got bullied really badly. So in his new life, he has to try to overcome this fear of leaving his house. And this makes him feel like a real person because in a lot of other isekais, once the character goes to another world, they no longer have to deal with any problems from their past world. But in reality, it wouldn't be like that. If you went to another world, not everything would be magically better. And the fact that Rudy has to overcome these issues from his past life is really great. And if I'm being completely honest, I relate to Rudy a lot. While I haven't really been bullied, I have had to overcome the fear of leaving my house before. I think I've mentioned this in maybe 1 or 2 videos in the past, but I was born with something called Duchenne's muscular dystrophy. And what this does is it makes my muscles weaken over time. So I'm in a wheelchair, and throughout my life, I've dealt with the fear of leaving my house, because I was scared of other people looking at me funny or thinking less of me. And I've had to overcome this fear many times throughout my life, and now it's gotten a lot better. But seeing Rudy have to overcome that fear of leaving his house in the first couple episodes made me relate to him a lot, and it made me feel for him. I also really like Rudy's character development throughout this first season, and I like that there are times when he genuinely fucks up pretty badly, because it makes him feel like a real person. And the reason why I keep saying how much I like when an anime character feels real is because it shows you just how good the writing is. If a writer can make a fictional character feel like a real person, that's incredible. And it's not just Rudy, but all of the characters in this anime are well written, and some have to deal with issues that real people would have to deal with. Like Roxy, who ends up becoming a magic teacher for Rudy. Rudy is able to do magic without incantations, which in this world, you're not supposed to be able to do magic without them. So she deals with feeling inferior to Rudy, who's only 4 years old, who can do magic without incantations, where she can't, even though she spent years training. And real quick before moving on to other characters, I just want to say how great of a character Roxy is, and how she is clearly the best girl of the series. She's really likable and has some great character development, and I thought the training she did with Rudy was really sweet, and I love the relationship with each other. And I just really like her as a character, and it looks like in the next season we'll be seeing much more of her, which I'm excited for. So going back to the other characters, Paul, Rudy's father, has a hard time understanding his son, who acts much older than his age, and has to learn how to interact with him. And even though later on he does some pretty scummy things, he's a well-written scummy character. And speaking of well-written characters who are not scummy, one of my favorite characters is one who gets introduced towards the end of the season, named Ruijerd. I'm probably mispronouncing that. But anyways, I'm not going to talk about him too much to avoid spoilers, but his backstory is really good and sad. In the few episodes I've seen him in, he's already become one of my favorite characters. And I love the interactions between him and Rudy, because he treats him more like an adult than anyone else in the show. Well, yes, there are other characters that treat him like an adult once they learn that he is a lot more mature for his age. Ruijerd, I think, treats him more like an adult than anyone else. And he's just all around one of the best written characters in the anime. Also, while I'm on the topic of characters, I might as well talk about the other 2 main characters. Sylphie is a girl Rudy meets after he stops some kids from bullying her, and they quickly become friends. although Rudy thinks she's a boy, and because of this, it leads to some issues. But overall, the relationship between the two is really sweet, and I really like her, and her character development so far has been pretty good. Then there's Eris, who at first I didn't like, and I found her kind of annoying, since she was always being mean to Rudy, but like any other tsundere, she becomes nicer over time, and now I really like her and her character development. And she's probably my favorite female character, next to Roxy. I know I keep saying this, but I can't stress enough how good the characters are. The writing in this anime is phenomenal, and it makes the characters so good. Now, one thing that people may not like about Mushoku Tensei is the ecchi scenes. And if anyone doesn't know what that means, it means scenes that are erotic. So for example, there's a scene where Roxy is pleasing herself while listening to Rudy's parents go at it in the other room. So while it's not in it that much, I figured I'd let you know just in case, because you may want to keep that remote handy for the first 2 episodes to turn the volume down, especially if you live with other people. So anyways, moving on. The world of Mushoku Tensei is also really interesting. While at first it may not seem like that big of a world, as the story continues, the world becomes much bigger. And this is one of the most interesting worlds I've seen in anime, and we haven't even seen all of it yet. It's also extremely immersive, so immersive to the point that they made up a new language for it. Like, they had to create and voice act the demon god language, which you won't see till episode 10, but that is just insane that they went to these lengths to make the anime that immersive. And I'm pretty sure this is the only anime I've ever seen to do that. So good job to the voice actors and writers for doing this, because I absolutely loved it. Also, Mushoku Tensei's art style is beautiful. It looks almost like it's hand-drawn, and it reminds me a lot of Breath of the Wild, which is my favorite video game of all time, by the way. Some of the shots are breathtaking, and the animation is really good as well. The artists and animators just did a fantastic job. And everything I've mentioned in this video shows just how much talent went into this anime. All the staff deserve a round of applause for the amount of work they put into Mushoku Tensei. And while I don't think this is my favorite anime of all time, even though this tweet may lead you to believe otherwise, but after thinking about it, I don't think it's my favorite. It might not even be my favorite isekai because of Re:Zero, but it has the potential to become not just my favorite isekai series, but my favorite anime series of all time. So I believe Mushoku Tensei deserves a fat A+. It's just such an incredible anime, and I cannot wait for season 2. But in the meantime, I'm going to read the light novel, which is the first light novel I've ever bought. That's just how much I love Mushoku Tensei. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and let me know what you think of this new video style that I'm trying out. Do you like it more, or do you prefer seeing my face more? I'm testing it out to see how I like it personally, but I'd like to hear your thoughts on it too. So let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and like the video. It helps me out more than you know, and I really appreciate it. So I'll see you next time with the next video.